Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestle Theory. Got the boy Devin Oos. How you doing, Devin?
I'm doing good today. How are you? Had a great weekend, great pay-per-view, lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
I was just gonna say that, man. I know, we're basically like the Usos, you know what I'm saying? So
We took a dub. We took a
took a
dub this
dub,
weekend.
yeah,
Took a
man. Like,
dub this weekend.
isn't that crazy? Roman Reigns has not been pinned in like 3 years, and Jay fucking Uso is the one to do it, man. And I'm
Uh,
so happy for him. He deserves it, man.
and he was also the first person to ever pin Roman Reigns too.
Yeah, like I think like let me see. I was say, is he the first?
Yeah,
I
no,
know
he
he's
was
the first in like how many years? It was like 3 years, right?
no. He was the first ever to pin Roman Reigns. So when the Shield first like came to make main roster,
Oh
versus
yeah,
the
that's
Authority and
right.
stuff, they did
Okay,
like
got
that
you. I got you.
12
You're
man
saying,
versus three, and
gotcha.
Jay happened to be the one to pin Roman. So
That's right. That was
it's
the
funny because
kickoff show, right,
obviously
from years ago.
something like that. I was on Raw, but it's just crazy to think like how far back like there's no way they planned that. Like long term storytelling, I love it, but it was like there was no way they planned that. Like where they were like, yeah, Jay
Mm.
get the pin because it'll mean something in like 13 years from now, and they're
Facts,
like, what? Okay,
big
they would have never
facts.
thought it when it came back to it. It's just beautiful storytelling.
It's amazing how it works. I know like the thought process was like, all right, yeah, because main event Jay, and he's basically the reason this whole kind of like bloodline storyline started. So it
Mm-hmm.
made the most sense to have Jay give him the first pinfall loss since Baron Corbin Big Dog days. But it's like, man, the fucking match was
So first off, men's Money in the
structural way.
Bank.
Yeah.
I didn't we didn't get to exclusively talk our predictions, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
we were both going for LA. But I always have said that
Yeah.
my second pick was Damian Priest. So the fact that he
Mm-hmm.
actually won, I was like, bro, I'm on it today. I was, bro, all my picks were actually right for this pay per view.
Yeah,
Uh,
you were like 4-0, right? Or last we
six
talked,
six
right?
no. I
6
got
0,
the
6 0,
yeah,
yeah.
I got the whole thing because me and my buddy sent pics in our group chat right before the pay per view because me and my buddy like to do that every pay per view because he'll be watching it and we'll be texting each other, and then he sent what he'll do is he'll send me the match card and he'll highlight the people he wants to win, which also he was cheating because like for the women's Money in the Bank he highlighted like half of them. He was like, "That's my pick," and I'm like, "All right, bro, you got a 50% chance, I guess."
No, honestly, like real shit, bro. Like the only one that made sense, like women's wise, was EO. Like I couldn't
Yeah,
see no one else winning. Like
yeah,
honestly, like
I was the exact same way. The reason I picked her was because it's like, okay, Becky doesn't need the Money in the Bank. If they want her to
nah,
win a world title, she can go punch a girl in the face and win. I was about to say a
bro.
bitch, but they deserve respect.
She
But
basically got like she got the Charlotte kind of treatment where
she's
she don't really, yeah, she can just challenge.
well, not.
She's
I don't even say
that
Charlotte
made.
treatment. She's just a
Yeah,
main
she
eventer, so she can just go win a title and nobody's gonna question it.
yeah. I must say yeah because with
Also, her
Charlotte,
ring
yeah,
attire was fire. Did you see that? It
it
was
was yeah.
X-Men Phoenix. I was like,
Yeah,
Jean Grey.
I was like, yo, I said, look at her, and she's always been killing it with her themes lately. Like I remember when she brought the Kill Bill, and
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
to
I was
Saudi
like,
Arabia.
oh shit,
Yeah, that was
yeah, and I was
awesome.
like, oh shit, so kudos to Becky for that.
Shout
I'm
out to
so
Becky
happy.
and Seth, bro. They're
I know, right? I wonder who's their fashion designer, or is it
his
just
name is
them?
I just saw so Seth Rollins gave him a shout out. I actually just followed him on Instagram because I was like, oh, I gotta see this. His name is King it's King something. I can get back to you real quick.
We'll put you in the graphic.
Well, yeah, we'll give you a shout out.
We'll give you a
But
shout out, brother.
yeah,
Great
Seth
job on
Rollins
the
gave him a
fashion.
shout out, and then I was just curious, so I looked him up because I was curious like who else he designs for. So he
Mhm.
designs for Seth, Becky, and Charlotte, ironically. And
Ah,
he used to do a little bit for Paige.
okay, awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Like a lot of people don't give those guys credits. The people who make like the wardrobe and the attire, the costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember hearing an interview before, like Ryback. He said that he actually goes to the same guy who's been making like RVD's attire for years and years.
Oh,
Even
really?
Ryback is like retired. Yeah, I know, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know like the guys like or the women, they share like people who make custom designs, and then find out these people make multiple characters. Because then like before, like he was also doing like Van Dam's from like the early like 90s, when he first started ECW, all the way to like today, basically. Because Van Dam wrestled here and there.
Yeah.
He did like Rybacks, and he also did Rhino stuff too. He had kind of like almost like that custom like singlet, almost like, not everyone, but most of the guys like in WWE from back in the day. He
Yeah.
like he did it. So it's like it's cool to see like even modern day, like, and we talk about best fashions, like Steph and Becky and damn Charlotte. Like shout out
There's a
to
lot that goes into it. By the way, I just looked up. His name is King Troy. By the way, I just looked it up.
King Troy. They say there we go right there. I was like shout out to you, bro. We'll give you the one.
Yeah, and then that's why it's also cool because like you have somebody like Bianca Belair who like she creates all of her own attire. She hand stitches it. They've shown videos of her before matches, like stitching it together. So that's awesome.
For real. Like I seen her do hers and Montez Ford's. Like they have like this couple outfit, like they do, like she makes literally like not just their ring gear, but also like their outfits too. And I'm like, yo, Bianca is so talented, man. I need to find me a Bianca Belair in this world.
I'm saying, bro, get you a queen, get you a queen, bro.
Facts, right? So let's talk about. You just say you want to go to the men's Money Bank, or you?
Yeah, I guess we'll start with that because that was the opening match. And wow, what a match. My first shout out is to the ladders because they were not breaking at all tonight. Oh my
god. Shout out to London. I don't know what the fuck y'all putting y'all wood,
bro. Their crowd was awesome, dude. Their crowd was off.
I love London, man. Like whenever Raw used to go there, like when they had that, remember years back, John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, that like hour match that wasn't planned, but they kept going because the crowd was so hot for it, and they definitely showed up today. But showed up for yesterday for Money to Bank.
Definitely great crowd. I also noticed like how they did the entrance order for the men's match was very strategic. I know. So they opened with Butch, right? Because the Brawling Brutes always gets a strong reaction, but also being in London, the Brawling Brutes is going to be a super over fashion, right? So they started strong. They had a few people in the middle, then they ended with LA Knight, and then they had Logan Paul just to do the Logan Paul thing. Which, by the way, I know you said you thought Buddy was going to win. I was like, there's not a chance. Hell, dude.
So. And then we could talk about this. So we could both agree that we wanted LA Knight to win, but we're not mad at Damian Priest. And I'll let you go in detail about Priest winning because I 100% agree with you. We talked on the on Messenger and stuff. But my reason I thought Logan Paul was going to win was because Logan Paul literally has one of the top podcasts in the world. He's so famous, and Impulsive. Shout out to Impulsive. He's also very famous on social media. Prime is taking off like crazy. Official drink for UFC. I can't wait to go get some myself after this show.
And if they'll allow us, it'll be the #1 drink for Wrestle Theory. Because your boy drinks Prime like religiously.
For real, man. I love it, man. I just had the grape one not too long ago, and I was like, it's so good. But back to Logan. It's because he's such a big celebrity, and he's such a great performer. Like I don't give a fuck what people say, man. Like you could talk trash about Logan Paul, you don't like him as a person or a YouTuber or a businessman or whatever, but you can't deny this guy can fucking work, man. He puts on shows, he gives it his all, and he is a heat magnet, man. And I was like, WWE, I said, just watch. They're gonna say, fuck the reaction that LA Knight's getting. Everyone knows LA Knight should have won. Fuck the Damian Priest storyline. That's gonna be a banger. I can't wait for that to develop. But let's give it to Logan Paul because we love our celebrities. We want to piss our fans off because then we always love to do the things that fans don't ask, just to keep them kind of like gnawing that carrot in their face, to keep them going along. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to, Logan could have that briefcase. He could parade it around on Impulsive or whatever. And then to make the story even more complete, he can cash in because he has beef with literally both Roman and Seth. Because I'm like, was close to beating Roman at Crown Jewel. And what way to piss off wrestling fans than to have Roman Reigns lose his long streak, like actually lose the title to fucking Logan Paul. People would lose their shit. But also, people will also lose their shit because he loses it to Seth, who he has a beef with, who he lost at WrestleMania. And that will get people talking. That will get more media attention. I'm thinking the WWE way logic. I didn't want Logan to win. I love Logan, but like I didn't want him to win. But that's why I thought Logan was going to be the one to get it, because they could complete either the Rollins story or they complete the Reigns story, or if they just want him to have a quick whatever like title reign, just so they can get, let's say another guy, I don't know who, but let's say another guy, let's say they call it Braun Breaker or whatever, give him some shine, and he looks like the hero whenever he beats, Logan, and not just Braun Breaker.
Yeah, but Braun's doing good as a heel right now, so I don't think he needs a face turn. Like he just broke into the heel thing this year.
I was literally just gonna say, I was like, but I don't think he needs that. I mean, that could probably be more of a Drew McIntyre. He can finally get that big reaction to the crowd he deserves
too. We'll get into that later too.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my thing on Logan.
That was why I thought Logan. Yeah. So you go.
Here's my thing on Logan. Right. I like Logan. Right. I used to hate Logan when he was going against my boy KSI, but now, we're on a new period. We turn a new leaf. We like him as a person now. His podcast has improved. He has improved as a person. His business, his empire has grown. As far as his work in the ring, I know some people said that, we'll give him a 1. That some people said I know that some people said that he his matches are more rehearsed, but they got to understand, for not being a full-time wrestler, like, what he does is phenomenal in ring.
For real. And he's super athletic.
Hey, bro, they got to keep him away from Ricochet too, dog. Every time,
Bro,
bro, when they flipped off the ropes into the table.
Yo, I was actually gonna bring that up. Like, so there's some reports, because you know me, bro. I'm all over all these like wrestling sites and shit and stuff. But there were some reports that actually Logan Paul was actually supposed to win.
I saw some legit of those, but I was like, there's no way.
He fucked his shoulder up so bad, like, because the spot got botched a little bit, or actually a lot of it. And
which they one? Decided, that one or the one with Damian Priest on the ladder?
The one where it was him and Ricochet. Okay. Not the one with him and Priest, but him with Ricochet. Like, they said when his shoulder hit the table and said, and then he started bleeding, all that. Like, they were like, they called an audible and it's like, no, let's go with Priest. That's what some reports saying. I hope that's not true, because
I don't think that's true, personally.
I hope it's I was like, I hope it's fake, but I can also see that being like, damn, let's call an audible, because he could be fucked up. Because I thought he was gonna be hurt, man. First I thought, oh man, did his head just hit that? Like, because you can see they're balancing, and like the spot just looks so scary, man. Like, man, it was crazy. So but it's such a great match.
No, phenomenal match. Also, like, I feel like that spot on the ladder with Damian was worse than the one with Ricochet, because Ricochet's looked crazier because they were flipping off the ropes, and you could see them both trying to stand on the ropes before they flipped into the tables. Yeah. But when Logan like frog smashed on the ladder and it just didn't give, and that was the first spot where I was like, yo, did they forget? Like, like, in the crazy thing is, I kept joking to saying they brought real ladders, but it's always been real ladders. They just were not given tonight.
They were not like, I think, because WWE used to always specially like gimmick the ladders are going to break with with wood and everything, so they snap and they look good. But for some reason, like London, man, I don't know if we can get some London people here. Like, what y'all doing different, bro? Say that London steel or that London wood, if they gimmick the ladder up, like, there's something different about that, man. Like, I thought Logan broke his ribs, honestly.
I thought Damian, you could tell Damian was out of knocked the wind out of him.
Oh yeah.
So here's why I don't think Logan should have won regardless, right? Yeah. And it's not even to his character, because yes, I agree he's lost his last, technically every match he's been in except for the first 2, because he won with Miz in the tag team. He won the match against the Miz, but he's lost every match since then. Yeah. I think they need to start him off and build him up a bit more. Excuse me. Number 2, when they announced the World Heavyweight Championship, they said it was supposed to be the workhorse title. So that's kind of a big fuck you to the fans, the company, and everybody. If the celebrity, viral sensation, non-full-time wrestler just gets thrown into a Money in the Bank pay-per-view match for the briefcase when he's not even a full-time wrestler, when there's full-time wrestlers who didn't get that opportunity, and then he cashes in on our workhorse champion and then becomes the World Heavyweight Champion. It's only the second one. Like, it'd be maybe like a year or 2 from now, if he did it, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But like, we're on our inaugural champion right now.
That's literally why I thought WWE was going to do it, because WWE loves to do shit like that just to get a reaction from fans, or if Vince feels like he wants to be petty.
So that's why I feel like
got most of the ring.
That's why he shouldn't cash on Seth. And as for the Roman part of him cashing in on Roman not making sense, it's solely because the story's too big for a non like canon payoff. It's got to be somebody who the story fits the bill. So if you have Jay dethroning Roman, if you have Seth dethroning Roman, if you have Kevin, Cody, guys like that, where it makes sense, I'll even take Drew. I'll take Drew.
I'll take Drew too, yeah.
But it's got to be somebody who makes sense. I'd even take Bobby Lashley, only because he's the only main eventer Roman hasn't got a 1v1 on with yet. And obviously, as you see, the bloodline is now over. So technically, if somebody dethrones Roman, SummerSlam's the time.
Yeah. But it's funny. I was like, I think you're giving W way too much credit on logic and making things sense. Because I mean, shit, we can make a top 10 countdown of the times W, missed an opportunity with somebody, or they fucked around and made the wrong finish. So that's why I honestly thought I was like, they're gonna fuck. Like, my thought literally was like, they're gonna fuck over LA Knight. I was like, they're gonna fuck over LA Knight because he's getting over organically instead of the way they want to push him. Like, and they're gonna give it to Logan Paul. I could see it, but Thank God they didn't. But I
Yeah.
really thought
That
if
was
this
the
was
other thing too.
Vince,
If Logan would have
100%
won
Vince would
over
have done it.
LA, oh, I would have been rioted. I would have flew to London to help them riot because it's funny too. I didn't expect Logan to get that much heat in London either because
I didn't either.
first time, the first press conference of Logan versus KSI, and he came to London. London was jumping him and his family when they were leaving the press conference. They were throwing like glass bottles at him. They were threatening to kick their asses. Like security was actually like rushing them out of the streets because the streets were like in London. They did not give a fuck about Logan Paul. So you thought after Prime and how they got along and everything, I thought London forgave Logan. They did not forgive Logan.
Bro, Logan had literally like nuclear heat. Like he had like almost NWO,
like Mysterio,
like back
like
in
Dominic right now.
Dominic, yeah, I would say Dominic modern day, but like almost damn near NWO heat. Like they wanted to fuck him up if he would have won. Like I
and
seriously
he plays
people would have
well.
jumped over. Yeah, that's why I was like, it almost would make sense if everybody wanted to go that route to like make him such like one of the biggest heels because he's just naturally annoying to like most people and like he's not loved by a lot of like wrestling fans. Like I love him though. I mean, you love him.
Yeah, no.
Like a lot of wrestling don't love him. So I'm like, if that will be the thing to dangle the carrot in front of like us fans, like we really want this guy to lose, and we were so invested. Like that's why business thought. Seth.
But I think that's also partially
Logan, I'm sorry.
It's also character work because look at Bad Bunny, who's also a celebrity wrestler,
Yeah.
who has also put the work in. Like right now, Logan and Bad Bunny are the two greatest like celebrity guest wrestlers of all time. Those two put in more work than I think anybody else. More than Stephen Amell, more than Floyd.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, wait. Okay.
More than Floyd Mayweather, more than I don't count the MMA crossovers because they're technically full-time wrestlers now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't count them. Yeah,
because even then, if you want to go that route, Bad Bunny did better than Cain Velasquez, and Cain Velasquez will murder Bad Bunny. You know, like in a real fight. You know,
we're not even gonna start in that whole Cain Velasquez bullshit thing that happened. And I like Cain, but that was fucked up. They literally just did that just so they could stroke Brock's ego. Like literally after he lost, they released him. Then he get into some trouble. But
like, Cain wasn't really signed with them like that. Was he?
Well, they made an announcement that they signed. I don't know if he was signed for more than just like that one-off, but
I think it was just for the one. Like, it was just for the sell. They couldn't really put the belt on him.
Well, no, of course not put the belt, but I was hoping like they would do more because Cain Velasquez. I mean, and you can throw some clips with if you can. This motherfucker could wrestle. Like he was training out there and competing in AAA. He's doing hurricanranas and he's a big dude.
Yeah,
like, he could really work. And when I was so disappointed because they brought him out on SmackDown, so I was hype, and they had Ray with him, and he attacked Brock. And then
I was say, mind you, Cain was. It wasn't actually a Cain versus Brock storyline though. It was a Ray versus Brock storyline.
Yeah, he brought him in,
and Ray brought Cain in for that one off to like be like, yeah, you want to keep bullying me? I got somebody who could bully you. And then Cain and Brock had that cool match.
Facts. And that was so cool. But I just hate how they just ended that. But yeah, I would say definitely Bad Bunny and Logan are definitely like the best. Like I'm really trying to think. Like I can't think of any other celebrities that have made some like
put in that effort.
That put in like the work. Like because shit. If you literally didn't like know like Bad Bunny was Bad Bunny or Logan was Logan, like you just thought they were two just starting up wrestlers and they just like got there to do their thing, you would give them the credit in the world. You'd be like, damn, these guys are really good. Like so I think so. I'm trying to think of some more celebrities, but I really can't. Most of them did like skits. I don't think like workhorses like these guys. So
no, they did like one-off matches, like I said.
Yeah, I was thinking about Tyson, and Tyson he was an enforcer, and I mean Snoop, but Snoop
you had Floyd. Oh, hey, Snoop did jump off the top rope though.
That worst top of please, we gotta put that in the graphic. We got that. Did you see the one in AEW he did?
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that way, yeah.
Shaq also wrestled a match with AEW too. Shaq did.
Yeah. That was good too. Put Jay Cargill on the map.
Mm-hmm.
That was good, man. Well,
they won that match too. Actually, I think it was Cody and Cody and Brandy, right?
Yep, Cody and Red Velvet. I think it was Red Velvet. He teamed in.
I think
Brandy
right.
was because it was supposed to be Brandy, but she ended up getting pregnant, so they ended up switching it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still pretty good. Well, I'll say so. Let's talk about. We mentioned Drew a little earlier. Let's talk about Drew making his shocking return after all the rumors of him and the company not being happy. They're far apart on deals. Drew may hold out, but then there's reports WWE's like, no, they're going to freeze his contract because he hasn't performed, and they could do that. So if you get injured, they'll freeze your contract till you come back. So you can still have like all that time that you missed. They still have that time they could use for your contract. But there was all this contract talk. Drew wasn't happy. And for him to come out and then the reaction he got was amazing against
Oh, you
Gunther.
know, in London, he's gonna get a pop. I mean, he gets
Oh
a pop anywhere, but that crowd plus having that home field advantage, yeah, that pop was
mm-hmm.
great. Well
Facts. Because
deserved for him.
yeah, I was gonna say even though he's from like Scotland, yeah, everyone in the UK love him. And if there was a person that I think could seriously beat Gunther and still make Gunther look strong and credible, it would be Drew.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember we talked a little bit, of course, off camera about the
Cashing
whole
in.
cashing in.
Yeah.
Bro, did you see those
I don't.
reports too? There's reports that really people think that might be, and I really hope not. That would
I think they need to chill out. Damian got it yesterday. He
for
got a
real.
whole year. Like, we don't need to start plotting on anybody's like title reign cash in right now.
Exactly. And I'm like, why do like this could be literally like the second best story if they build it right with Priest. And
I agree.
We'll get back with Priest.
I think what they should start doing with Priest. I know we were talking about Drew, but
Yeah,
what they should start
get
doing with Priest is since the bloodline storyline starting to come down on that, like from that apex, they should start having the Judgment Day coming up, because I'm like, now you got good long-term storytelling with Finn and Seth, but now there's drama with Finn and Damian. And I don't think it should be resolving into the Judgment Day breaking up, because I don't think they should break up. I think they're still hot right now. I think, because I mean, shoot, just look at the pay-per-view. I mean, half the pay-per-view was Judgment Day. You had Damian in the Money in the Bank, you had Dominic and Rhea with the match with Cody, and then you got Finn in the main event. Judgment Day was on this card more than any other faction.
Judgment Day came a long way, man, since the day Edge started the group. Isn't that crazy?
It's hard to look at it, the fact that it's bigger than when it was with Edge, but it is. It's bigger. It's running the company. And so I think they should let Damian hold on to it, but definitely build on the Judgment Day now. That should be their main focus as they let the Roman Reigns story start to finally come down.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The only question is like how will they execute it? Because like I think the best way to me would be, of course, have Finn win the world title somehow. Like maybe he beat Seth at SummerSlam. Maybe maybe some
I would be okay with
interference
that.
or something. Yeah, like I'll be fine with that. Now the true story is how they're gonna tell it to get Damian to be that main eventer. Like, are they gonna have him do like a cash in the same day, or hell, maybe cash in like say they're down, like almost like the Seth, did the heist at WrestleMania where they're like both of them are down, let's say, Finn and Seth, and then Damian runs out there and cashes in and is gonna cause problems, or who knows? They could do on some Batista and Triple H stuff, if they want.
There's a few ways they can go, because one thing a lot of people keep talking about the Judgment Day is Jordan Devlin potentially being a future member, which obviously makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, being Finn's, not I was about to say protege, but
well, I mean, he trained Finn trained him, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
Finn trained Jordan Devlin, so it would make sense for him to join under Finn. But people were talking about, well, what if they kick Finn and add Jordan, or Finn kicks Damian but adds Jordan? Basically, which I don't know how that would work, because I'm like, I feel like Rhea and Damian are like homies, like, because they're technically both kicked out Edge for Finn, so they wouldn't turn on each other. Rhea ain't gonna let nobody mess with Dom.
Yeah, Rhea got to be the one to knock out Dom out the group.
Yeah, if anybody kicked Dom out of the group, it would be Rhea, because Rhea ain't gonna let nobody else do that to him.
Hell no. I love their story, by the way.
Like, theirs is great too.
They're legit.
They're not even dating in real life.
I know, right? That's all. Like, they're like the modern day Eddie and China, like, because they weren't together in real life either. But the chemistry is just so good. I'm like, man, like I can't get enough of them.
Bro, you know what my boys texted me yesterday watching Dominic's match? He was like, bro, it just occurred to me. I just realized what Dom's gimmick is, and I was like, what? And he was like, Dom has a big titty goth girlfriend with daddy issues. Damn, he's living our dream, bro.
Big facts, man. Big facts. Man.
He's our age too, bro. That's the crazy thing.
I know, man. It's crazy. I watched Dominic for a while, because like I used to follow Dominic on Instagram like way back when he was not even in the wrestling business. Like he was just a football player. Like he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then when he decided to go into the wrestling business, train with Lance Storm, and then going over to Performance Center, then of course we know the rest is history. But like he's really good, even though he's big as shit compared to Ray. Like he's really good. He's a natural. Like I can actually see one day. I know it sounds crazy now, so don't roast me, y'all. But hear me out. One day, I could see Dominic Mysterio being a world champion.
Oh
One,
no,
one day.
easily.
I
So
know
what
people
people
will clown me, but
no. So the thing is, what people fail to understand right now is when you look at the younger guys in the company, you look at them as the upper mid card, lower mid card like guys. But when all the older guys are gone, those are the guys carrying the company. Because now WWE is finally starting to transition to trusting the newer guys. So they don't see it right now, but like when people talk about the early 2000s, right, and they talk about world champs, they talk about John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, right? They talk about those guys. 10 years from now, those guys is going to be Dominic, Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, Gunther. Those guys are going to be like the pillars of the company.
So crazy to think, but it's so true. And I mean, they're already planting seeds with guys like Dominic and Gunther.
You don't see it right now, but it's going to be like Austin Theory
I can
versus
see
Dominic Mysterio at a WrestleMania main event for the World Championship. Everyone's going to be like, oh, who would have saw this coming?
I wouldn't even say that, but I could see it happening.
It's gonna happen, and like give it like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it happening in the next couple, but
no. Yeah, let's say 5-10 years down the road, I think it's definitely gonna happen. In this grief.
All right, so we're Drew McIntyre's return. Is that what we were on?
Yeah, Drew McIntyre.
I also heard rumors that he was unhappy with the company. I heard rumors that he was going to potentially. They were saying AEW, but that's what they say when anybody leaves WWE.
I swear, man, it's like they said that about freaking Sasha and Naomi for like 12 months. Like they were like,
and it's crazy because Sasha is killing it in New Japan. Last I heard, I haven't looked into her recently. I used to follow her on Instagram. I have to go back and check because I thought I still did.
She's nursing her ankle injury right now.
Oh, okay, that's
I mean,
she was okay. That makes sense.
But she was killing it though before the injury.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Her fire her was so cool, dude.
Bro, I was like, damn, I never thought of that. Like
that's super cool. But then Naomi's been really quiet since her departure.
Yeah, she's been building up slowly, like an Impact, because she went to Impact.
Oh, is that where I didn't know she was wrestling still? Okay.
Yeah, she came back I think last month, and she's with Impact Wrestling.
I low-key been waiting for Roman to bring it to Tamina so that way Jimmy could be like, well, I got somebody from the bloodline too.
I was hoping, I was hoping for that, but once I saw she signed with Impact, I was like, fuck, that ain't happening. Because I mean, like it's on Triple H kind of sort of ish, because I heard Vince is still poking his head in here, but Triple H is more open to doing like partnerships and stuff with other companies, or like just one-offs or deals. So maybe that may not be too far-fetched, but Naomi's killing it right now.
Impact's with kind of aligned with ROH and AEW and New Japan. It kind of seems like every promotion's kind of like circled together around AEW because WWE's been cutting them off for so long.
Like it makes no sense, because back in like the 80s, the 80s and even the 90s, WWE used to do like partnerships with a lot of companies like ECW before they eventually brought them. They were doing partnerships with All Japan Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, War. Like they were doing all these that's Wrestling with Romance for War for something. I don't know that, but even back in the earlier days, territory day, they used to trade off talent all the time. But then Vince just one day was like, screw all the other wrestling promotions. None of them matter. It's just me.
Well, we can never hold a candle to the flame and the genius that is Vince McMahon. Because I mean, as much as there's a lot of things we could say bad about it, there's a lot of great things we could say about him too. And he actually elevated like the WWE superstar to look like the dream job. And how, when you see a guy walking out with the pyro and everything, like you realize like he's at the top of the wrestling world. So it's like when you look at a world heavyweight champion in WWE, it's like, hey, this is it. This is the top guy in the world. All those guys in the other promotions are wrestling, dreaming to be that guy.
That's true.
So the way Vince did it, it was kind of messed up, like cutting off promotions like that, cutting their legs from under them. But it was to raise the elevation of WWE. And then even with Triple H was trying to, he says he's open with it, but originally he was trying to replace the other promotions. I don't think intentionally, but if you think about it, right, what did he do? Okay, there's not a lot of wrestling going on in the UK. Let me start NXT UK. All right,
what's so crazy?
They were branching towards India.
Wait, well, before you say that, because people used to say that all the time, where they're like, "Oh, there wasn't much wrestling in the UK." Like, there was so much wrestling in the UK. Wrestling in the UK was so hot. Like, it's crazy because when Triple H decided to do NXT UK, it was cutting off a lot of the UK promotions, and they ended up working out some deals eventually with guys. I mean, with companies like Progress and stuff. You can see some of that stuff on the network.
Mm-hmm.
But like they were a hotbed for wrestling for a long time. I mean, like they already had produced some of the greatest wrestlers currently, like we see like Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr., and what's her name, Jamie Hayter, all these great
Yeah, where I think William
Rhea
Regal came
Priestley,
from,
William
the
Regal,
GOAT.
yeah, like even Tyler Bate and Gunther before they even got to WWE,
Yeah, Walter
like
in
yeah, when he
UK.
was Walter, yeah, like WWE or Triple H really just raiding the talent and just trying to take over before, of course, everything changed. But anyway, I know we're getting
No,
off topic a little,
but
but
we're allowed to this week.
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, all right.
But I know
Well,
we're talking about Drew and
yeah. So, which ironically is a UK wrestler, so it
I know,
somehow
right?
all came back full circle.
Exactly right. But like, how do you feel about Drew being the one to dethrone Gunther after all this time?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I personally would have preferred Sheamus because Sheamus has never became a Grand Slam champion. The storyline would have fit, but unfortunately, Sheamus is on another show. It is what it is. Drew could do it. I feel like they don't really need to build that up as much because Drew and Sheamus been going at it with Gunther for like the past year and a half, 2 years. So like it doesn't take a lot of preparation. Plus, once Drew does take the belt off Gunther, they could probably have Gunther maybe go after Seth. I think that would be a good step up.
Yeah.
But I know Drew wants.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
I know Drew wants to claim at the going back to the main event as well. That the main event seems starting to flush out and be what it is again, because he's still a heavy hitter on the roster for sure. I was happy my boy Matt Riddle got a chance at the IC title, but I knew there was not a chance on how he was winning, unfortunately. But I was like, because I could see Matt being an IC title like champion again. Because remember, Matt has beaten people like Bobby Lashley like clean, So beating somebody, he's beaten Solo clean. He's got some wins under his belt that like he could beat Gunther, but the issue is they've only had the short storytelling with him versus Gunther for a couple weeks, not worth a build up to stop a literally a historical IC title reign.
I wish they would have incorporated the time they wrestled in the UK a lot and in other promotions, because then it would make so much more sense to the casual fan or like the ones that don't know about like your history outside of like just these 2 weeks of Raw, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like,
yeah, and that's something that they do a lot is when new people come like up to the main roster, they go, "Oh well, we can't assume that the fans seen your old stuff, so we can't treat you like that." When honestly, I think it's better because it's like even like at the time back in 2016 where I told you I was getting back into wrestling, right? So I still didn't have all this behind the scenes knowledge, so I didn't know a lot about who AJ Styles was, right? And when he hits the Royal Rumble entrance, and everybody's like, "Ooh, even Roman's kind of like, who's this? What?" And screen says phenomenal. The fans were losing it, right? And WWE didn't do no promotion for this man. They didn't do any promotion for this man. They didn't hype him up. They didn't do promos for weeks to come about like somebody phenomenal's coming, right? He just showed up. And you could see from the crowd there was pop because they knew a legend just came to WWE,
Facts. Do you know the backstory behind that?
Of him coming to WWE? Well, how he got jumped from Bullet Club like a week before? Because I do know that part.
No, like the backstage politics and stuff. So
no,
like, all right.
Because remember that was when I was getting back into wrestling. So
all right, so we could cover that probably another time. But yeah, that was. I'm so glad AJ overcame all that bullshit that Vince was putting him through. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, no, that's true though. Because if you think about it, at that time though, they used to not be as open to indie guys, and then WWE started finally taking the indie guys and worked out. Because like Kevin Owens is an indie guy, Sammy's an indie guy,
Johnny Gargano,
great indie guy. Once they started opening to the indie guys, then all of a sudden like WWE started getting all this fire talent, And then they were like, we have too much talent now.
They went from not enough talent to too much talent for real, man. But yeah, I think I definitely want to see Drew back in the main event scene too.
Agreed.
It was kind of awkward, like not awkward because it was great to see him, but I was like, why is he going after Gunther? That was my first thing because I'm thinking like, they wrestled at WrestleMania and he lost, but it just didn't seem like Sheamus made sense. Like Sheamus had something to go for, even though Sheamus been a world champion a lot. And everyone who's followed Drew or knows Drew knows that Drew literally was saying how much he really wants to be the world champion, WWE champion again, in front of real actual fans before he got into
because
before he
he
even
did it
got
during
into this
COVID.
feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, like before he even got into that feud when he was inserted with Gunther and Sheamus and them. So I guess it makes sense they want to continue that feud, but I really think they should need to start building Drew back up into the world title picture. I could see him even being the one to take Seth out, maybe, or maybe they could build something with him and Roman. I don't know, because he did get screwed too. I mean, and now there is no more bloodline, so they could have done that. But now that he's on Raw, I mean, it's brand
Yeah,
split be
because
damned
I always
anyway.
like when talking about Drew and Sheamus, I always like to go back to Clash at the Castle because both of them just had I and don't shoot me for my personal ratings, but 5-star matches for both of them.
Definitely.
First off, Gunther versus Sheamus, like Sheamus literally got a standing ovation, like walking out of that match, losing, mind you, losing. He got a standing ovation because they knew that like how physical Sheamus has been over like the decade. And they were like, yeah, this is going to be an awesome match. And it was an awesome match between the two. Banger after
I didn't
banger,
expect it to be as good as it turned out. Like I knew it was going to be good.
I knew it was going to be good, but
I didn't know it was going to be,
good.
yeah.
And then on top of that too, and that's kind of where they got the cool home field advantage picks doing like European guys in Europe for Clash of the Castle. But having Drew go against Roman, I actually believed for a split second that Drew was going to be like beat Roman there. I thought he had it, and then Solo came out, and I was like,
yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, that was so disappointing because I was like, when I saw they let him use Broken Dreams just for that little bit, I was like,
oh, I wish they would have kept
yo,
that
for real. I was like,
fire.
that theme is banger. Like that's gonna be our next top 10 for our next episode. We can do themes or something.
Banger themes that need to return. Oh, I gotta
Yeah.
list. I gotta make it, but I got a list.
For real, we're gonna kill it with that one. But bro, like, man, that was the time to pull the trigger, and they didn't because WWE, that's what they do. They always do when it's time to pull the trigger. They don't. Same with LA Knight. I mean, not that LA Knight is career's over and thing. They could still make this right if LA Knight goes on to win the Rumble.
There's just other way. There's other paths to success. So believe it or not, in the post interview for Money in the Bank, Triple H actually acknowledged LA Knight because he knows he was letting us know that like because all the fans are like, hey, we all know that he's over, so why aren't they doing anything? So he was like, hey. He's like, sometimes good things come to those who wait, like kind of hinting at LA. Well, I think because he was answering a question directly about LA Knight, but he was basically saying like, even though he didn't win the Money in the Bank, he's like, good things come for those who deserve it. Like kind of saying like, LA's getting something soon. I don't know what it's gonna be. I mean, the easiest answer is the U.S. title, but
yes,
we'll see. That's the easiest answer, but I don't want it to go. It's too soon. Give Austin a couple more years. He's not ready.
It's so crazy when it comes to that. Like, and I think about, of course, that is the easy fix is to give him the U.S. title because that's what they did with Zack Ryder. But that's why I don't want them to give him the U.S. title because we saw what happened. Well, no, it's not, but it is because it's like a guy who got over, like super over, more than they even had planned or didn't even have any plans for him. So they had to insert this guy in. And what they did, they gave him the U.S. title. That's what they did with Zach. So now with LA Knight, he's kind of on that too, where it's like the fans don't want to see him get a freaking mid-card title. Not that there's nothing wrong with the U.S. title, but like people want to see LA Knight be a world champ because they know he's limited because of his age. So it's like that we can't just keep dangling the carrot in our face.
LA Knight also
years.
LA Knight also spoke on his age too, ironically, because
Chris Van Vliet,
yeah, I think that was where it was because he talked about them wanting him to be a manager, which Logan actually brought up on Friday. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, fourth wall break. That's crazy.
Real,
but the whole internet was talking about it, like how could WWE want to treat him as a manager? But then LA Knight basically told him like, hey, look, he was like, out of the 40, when people hear 40 years on WWE, they're thinking of also the guys who've been beaten down, battered, and had like 8 surgeries. He's like, I'm still healthy and good to go. And I agree because he's still in the ring going. He was taking his bumps just like a champ, like everybody else in that ladder match. And a lot of the guys in the ladder match were younger than him, but they were all like, you couldn't really tell. Everybody in that match performed like beautifully. In the women's match, I could say some of the bumps were probably worse. I know what was it? Zelina Io threw Zelina into that ladder.
Yeah.
That was
it
bad, bro.
it's always so hard for me to watch the women's Money in the Bank and not just cringe because I'm scared that they're gonna hurt themselves. Like their bumps off the ladder or just ladder, they just look so like painful. And I don't know if it's a great job on them selling or just because they're not as experienced compared to like the guys when they, in ladder matches or whatever. But I just cringe like, oh man, please don't get hurt. Oh, don't fall off. Oh, please.
Honestly, I think they're just more hardcore than some of the dudes. Honestly,
Oh yeah, like I
because
remember the Hell in a Cell match. That oh man, do you remember that one?
which one?
When it was I think it was Charlotte and
Sasha?
Sasha. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my
bro.
god, they went
Sasha's the first
hard
one
as
who made
fuck.
Sasha was the first one who made me realize like the women have like stepped it up into like we
Mm-hmm.
don't care about bumps. Like we're actually gonna hurt each other to put on a show
Mm-hmm.
because they did not care.
Yeah, at
So
all.
I don't even look at it as bumps. Like I feel like they're like, yeah, like you ever seen the difference between like men's and women's soccer?
Yeah.
It'll be like dudes are like playing and like you like tap a dude and he's like on the floor dying. But like girls soccer, they're like pulling each other's hair, kicking each other in the teeth. Like they don't care. That's how women's wrestling is, I think. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
taking their bumps like even harder and they're just shrugging it
Yeah.
off like
And maybe
shit.
I think that's probably what it is too. Where I watched like the women's Money in the Banks, no matter if it was from the first one to last one, it's always that ooh, like that doesn't look like that was part of the plan fall or bump they took or damn,
Yeah.
I hope she's not hurt. Like like that's the reaction I was
Yeah.
always getting where I'm like fuck. But back to sorry, but back to like the whole Drew thing. Yeah, I like I said they could
We
make
might have
this
to let
right
that
with
one
him.
go.
Yeah, I know, right? But we could have like I said, I was just gonna say they can make it right with Drew. Well, there's two guys I think that should win the Royal Rumble. It should be either Drew or it should be LA Knight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, of course, it
I
is
can agree
still
with those two.
early. It's still early, so someone could catch fire, injuries happen, all types of. But I think those two are the only way that we can make this right for both of those guys.
I
Is
think
to give
those are
them the
two
Rumble.
good picks. I mean, obviously, when we get closer, because that's pretty far away, we can
Yeah, I mean
we can talk about other people at the time. But I think those two are very valid picks right now. But we don't even know what the championship picture is going to be looking like going into the Royal Rumble yet.
Facts, and plus Cody still has a story to tell, so they could give him.
There's also Cody, also a person that kind of put on the back burner, Sammy, because Sammy's story wasn't supposed to end with the tag titles, but when you also had Cody going for the same title, it was kind of hard to put a ending on both stories, which was crazy to me. Actually, now looking back on it, because at the time it made sense. But if Cody was gonna lose, why didn't you just give the belt to Sammy? If exactly. Cody was gonna lose anyway.
That's the shit that's the logic. I'm telling you that WWE logic doesn't make any sense to me.
Because back when I was,
I'll take the headset off right now, bro.
No,
I'm like, this is so true.
Because back when I was still in the army, my platoon leader, he watched wrestling like casually, but he still paid attention to the behind the scenes stuff, kind of like we do, but like not as much as we do. And we would talk about it, and he was like, "Yeah, they got to be careful because after Royal Rumble with the Sammy betrayal, and you know how over Sammy is, they were like, my LT was like, yo, they got to be careful because he's like, now you have, Cody who's supposed to win the belt and he specifically wants the WWE championship. And now you got Sammy who wants to beat Roman and he's over. So they got to be careful with how they do it. And I'm like, yeah. And so they put Sammy over there. I'm like, damn, like both of them could beat Roman and the storyline would make sense. It's like, how are they going to go? They got Cody winning the Royal Rumble. You got Sammy about to face him at Survivor Series. And then Sammy lost, and he's like, the only smart way is to cop out and give Sammy the tag title so Cody can beat him. But then Cody lost.
Cody lost, yeah. It's so like, what the
doing?
fuck? Like, I would have been cool with them if they would have done it like Sammy won in Montreal when he won the Elimination Chamber. Roman, cashing his rematch clause or whatever. But since Cody's already won the Royal Rumble, make it a triple threat. I would have been cool with that. Honestly, or if they would have done, like let's say they kept it where Roman did beat Sammy, but like maybe like Adam Pearce got involved and was like, like that wasn't right how Sammy, Bloodline's always getting involved or this and that. I want to throw him in the world title match with you and Cody, anything like that. Like,
honestly, for me, I think as long as Sammy is in the building when Roman finally loses the title, I'll be okay. Like he doesn't have to win it himself, which I mean, he could have a world title run. I think that would be fair, but maybe it's not right now because especially because him and Kevin are killing it as tag champs. I felt like they weren't doing much, but like looking into their matches and stuff, like Kevin, I love Kevin's like enraged gimmick right now. It's so good. He's just breaking
That
fourth walls, and it's like you can't come out. Nobody said your name. That's not how this shit works.
I love Kevin Owens, man, and
Bro, goat.
like it's just amazing to me. Like when you think about like his career, like he is probably if you give him a lineup of full of like potential guys that could be world champion, he is the last person you'll look at and be like, yeah, that's a world champion. But
Who,
like
Sammy?
no, Kevin, just off his look,
Well,
like when he first came in, because they were
fair,
like,
but
oh, he's
Kevin is a world champion. Don't forget.
yeah, I know. I'm
Yeah.
saying like why I love Kevin Owens so
Oh,
much
off
because
appearance, yeah.
yeah, because like appearance, like WWE would never touch a guy that looked like Kevin Owens before because he was kind of
Mhm.
pudgy, but he was athletic as hell. He kind of gave me like a Mick Foley vibes, but yet still broke barriers. Went on to win world champions multiple times. So over and such a great performer that he brought Stone fucking Cold out of retirement. No one like people like don't realize how big that was. Like, and I think it should be treated more as a bigger deal because literally The Rock was teased to get Stone Cold out, never did. Roman never did. Brock never did. Punk never did. Like all these guys from many years, Cena, like they threw at to get Stone Cold come out of retirement just for one time since '03, and no one did it but Kevin Owens. He loved
Mhm.
Kevin Owens so much that he did not just only come out of retirement for him.
Gave him the stunner.
Gave him the stunner. Yeah, like I'm like that's how I'm like for people who ever would hate on Kevin Owens because he's not like he don't look like a world champion or whatever. Like this dude's over and he's got the blessings from some of the greatest to ever do it. Like
No,
ooh.
Kevin's definitely a generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
He carries himself along with just his wrestling ability. Like literally, like looking back at that promo he had with Austin Theory, where he was telling him like, "Hey, guys come in here looking like you every day, and they're gone." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"There's nobody that's in here that looks like me that's gonna stay as long as I have, and that's for a reason."
That's a mic drop moment right there.
Yeah,
But
and I
bro,
was hoping they would turn that into an opportunity for Austin to like change his character a little bit, but they didn't.
me too. I was actually hoping that was going to bring into like a really good like feud that could take both Austin. Well, not really take both because Kevin's already been there, but like take Austin to the next
I thought, yeah,
level.
it should have been a great rivalry between the two, and it wasn't. I don't think Austin's had that. He hasn't had a good rivalry yet.
It's so like it bothers me so much about Austin Theory, like how they're kind of just treating him like this guy like is so talented. Like I've been watching Austin Theory for years. I mean, he's still young, so they could turn around anytime they want to. But
He's also our age.
yeah, right. But it's just like I look at like the Cena situation, and I'm like, all right, Cena made a surprise appearance, at the Money in the Bank. Why didn't they have him and Austin Theory do something like to continue, like to help him elevate? I'm like, literally, like you have Cena come out there teasing WrestleMania come to London, but yet you had him lose clean at WrestleMania. Theory steam has not really went up since then. Why couldn't they see? They'd be like, "Oh, look, Cena, you're gonna be in London. Let's shoot an angle with you in Theory real quick." Like I feel like they're just not trying as much as they should with Austin Theory. Like I just feel like
I
they're almost
agree.
giving up.
Mind you, I'm biased with Austin because I want that boy to wear the title belt for like
Oh, of
8
course.
more years. And if it's just because he coast by with lackluster rivalries, I'll take it. But I agree with you. I feel like they forget part of what makes a title reign is the rivalries because it's
Mhm.
like if you look at Gunther's IC title reign, like yes, he's held it for so long, but also what's made it so awesome is like the rivalries he's had with Sheamus, with Drew, with Ricochet, because he took it from Ricochet, if I'm correct, right? Started
Uh,
with Ricochet, I believe he
they
beat.
get just started with Ricochet.
I
I can't even remember who he beat.
I think
Damn,
he took it from Ricochet.
was Ricochet the Intercontinental champion? He
Mm-hmm.
might have been.
He had it
He
for a
might.
little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah, Gunther beat him so bad
yeah.
he
I think
jumped
it.
into the
I
tag
think it
division.
was. It happened. I would say it happened so long. I almost forgot. Yeah, I guess it was Ricochet that had it.
Yeah, but like his matches have been fire, his opponents have been fire. It was like Austin had the rivalry with Seth and Bobby starting into it, which was good
Mhm.
for him because he beat two main eventers. Now, mind you, slightly maybe a fluke here and there or whatever, so be it. But then you have all his big matches, they always had like some kind of fluke, right? Because then he had to defend his US title in the Elimination Chamber, which I thought was badass. But
Yeah, that was
then
pretty cool.
Logan comes in and cheap shot Seth at the end and he retains, which once again, I'm not mad at
Yeah.
he retained. I literally have the placard on my wall from the day he won the belt at Survivor Series. I have a number 11 out of 250.
That's pretty dope.
But yeah, they haven't given him like a big, like, not a Cena to Orton, not a Ziggler to Miz, not a, a Sheamus to Gunther. They haven't given him
Yeah.
that a person yet, and I don't think they have the person that matches his energy yet. And I think they need to figure out who that is. And I think part of it is I think the WWE is currently lacking on faces at the moment. Because if you look at SmackDown, right, they got heels for days. They got LA. They got Karrion Kross. Well, I'm just talking mid card too. I'm not even talking main event scene, like just mid card.
Oh, it was mid card. Yeah, okay.
Everybody beneath the bloodline is mid card right now. I'm sorry, I don't make
pretty
the rules
much.
around. I don't make the rules around here.
Pretty much, yeah. You're right.
Sheamus would be a good one for him to go back and forth with. I think that should be the start of something. Or even like just give it to somebody younger. Give it to Butch. Like imagine Butch and Theory just going back and forth. I think that would be awesome.
A banger of a match.
I think those two could tear the roof off. That would be my recommendation.
People forget how good Butch really is because of him switching to Butch instead of being when he was Pete Dunne. Yeah,
I want Pete Dunne back so bad.
Yeah, like we get Pete Dunne back, and have him going there with Theory, like they will tear it. That should be legit. Like a rivalry that could help elevate Theory. If it's not him, and I know we talked a little bit about Jordan Devlin, but hell, bring him to fucking SmackDown. And
he's already on Raw though with the Judgment Day. So,
I didn't know if they're gonna make him official like over there. I was gonna say like if they didn't, because shit, I haven't. My mind blanked out for a second. I thought
Jordan Devlin's already on Raw. They had him bury Dolph Ziggler again. Like every it's like, hey, welcome to Raw. Here's Dolph Ziggler. Just lay him out, and then we'll put you on the back burner for 3 months, and then you can start a rivalry with somebody. Like, where's Bronson Reed?
For real, where's Bronson Reed at? Or they could say, hey, at least he pinned the world champion. Oh, shit. You know what? You mentioned Bronson Reed. That could be another good one, too. If they want to really elevate someone while getting the title off Gunther, shit, give it to Bronson Reed.
He's on Raw. They could.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense instead of
where is he?
Drew. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's injured or whatever.
I can't even say that. They just have his last match was before the brand split or the draft because he had a U.S. title match against Austin, and I think Bobby Lashley was in the match too. Yeah, and Austin. I knew Austin was winning because they had Gunther coming to Raw and Austin going to SmackDown, and I was like, they can't have him lose and have the title stay on Raw. So. I was like, he's retaining.
Thanks. Well, let me. I wanted to cover this mismatch too in Money in Bank. So, it was the women's tag match. So Shayna Baszler and
I forgot about that match.
Yeah, I wanted to cover this. So Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. Shout out to Raquel, she's so fine. But I wasn't mad that they end up winning, and I'm actually happy that they got the titles off of them.
If that's okay. Now, hold on. If you're saying shout out to Raquel, Liv, I love you. Also, just so you know, Raquel is dating Braun Strowman. So it was nice knowing you, buddy.
Hey, that's why I wore my Christian shirt. Outwork everyone. I'm outworking you, Braun. No, I'm playing. I am playing.
Braun, he speaks for him damn self.
For real. I'm like, Braun, I'm still in North Carolina, man. What's up? No, I'm playing. I am just playing. Do not come get me.
I am not in North Carolina, but I can't save him. Whatever you do, Braun, that's your choice.
Facts.
All right, anyway, on to the tag match.
Yeah, on to the tag match. It was all right. It was a pretty good match. I love the fact that they finally pulled the trigger to let Shayna Baszler turn on Ronda.
But like it was so out of nowhere. That was the only thing.
That's what made it perfect.
Because normally like you see them do. I had to actually rewind the match to be like, what did Ronda do to piss her off? And so I looked and I'm like, okay. First I saw one of them was in a submission. I think Shayna was choking Liv out, but then Raquel pushed Ronda into her. And I thought, oh, maybe that's where she got pissed off. But then they were still working together after that. But then I see a tag where Shayna gets under the corner and Ronda tags her. So I'm thinking that's it. But then no, Shayna's still cool after that. So there was really nothing that built up to that. It was just like Ronda's like, all right, we about to win this match. And then Shayna was like, fuck you and everything you stand for.
To me, that's what made it awesome. Because like when you think about, we talk about Judgment Day, we did not see Edge getting just flat. Like there was no build up, no tension, nothing.
No predictability.
Just happened.
Make it surprising.
Yeah, and I felt this was just as good. Not saying it's going to be big as Judgment Day, of course, but the fact they're doing this, because now they could bring back that killer, because people have been talking crap about Triple H and these wrestling groups and communities that I'm in, saying, oh, he's forgot about the women and he's not focusing enough on women stuff, and unless they're in a title. Now he could build, he's showing like, hey, look, I'm gonna build a feud between two legit women who fought in UFC. Well, of course, Ronda was a bigger star or whatever, but still two legit badass women, and they could build up Shayna like the star she really is. Because I remember her NXT run. She was
NXT
a monster,
was
bro.
a dominant
She
champion.
was a monster. And like, bro, they have like almost like no credible like badass like that walks around that could be like, you know what I'm saying? Like how Shayna was. Like, and
It's
I don't
actually
know why
crazy how dirty Shane has been done, because if you think about it, right? Like back when she only lost to Rhea Ripley, right? And that was after she beat every woman on the NXT roster, to where Rhea, it was such a badass moment where Rhea was like, "You haven't beat me, bitch," and then Rhea beat her, right? And now look at Rhea, World Heavyweight Champion. Rhea's career skyrocketed, and Shayna has just dwindled down to the bottom of the women's division.
Facts. People forget how dominant she beat Rhea before Rhea ended up beating her, but she ended up beating Bianca. Like that actually helped put Bianca on the map. Like Shayna was the shit, bro. And it's crazy that it took them this long, but I'm happy it's finally happening, because this is the WWE, if they actually let Ronda put her over, because Ronda wins, like let's say they do 3 matches, Ronda wins all 3, or Ronda wins 2 out of 3, then it really does nothing for Shayna. They have to make Shayna look like a fucking beast. So when she can challenge, let's say, a Rhea Ripley one day for the world title, or maybe Asuka, I don't know, probably Asuka, but at least they can now build up this badass killer that she once was back in NXT. So I'm excited for this.
No, my prediction for Shayna, if they want to do it right, it should have, honestly, it should be one-sided. I need Shayna to brutalize Ronda, right?
Exactly.
And then you could either
like
have
3-0.
Like, they don't even have to do 3 matches. They could just do 1, and Shayna puts her on the shelf for a couple months. Let Shayna like just start running SmackDown. Ooh. And then have Ronda come back and be the face in that feud, and then have Shayna win it overall, so that way there's the full term payoff. But on top of that too, you get another good pay-per-view, because like in the promos they're gonna have Ronda coming back, and they'll have security. Ronda will start punching every dude she sees, because Ronda just likes to punch dudes for some reason. I don't make the rules around here. Okay,
it's if she's not punching them, she's fucking one arm flipping them like
judo one arm takedown. Yeah, everybody's getting ragdoll, so she's gonna ragdoll everybody to get to Shayna, and Shayna's gonna be like, "Bring it on! I ain't scared of you no more. I'm tired of riding your coattails."
Facts. Like this could be a great rivalry if they do it right. Like they have to, like, and I'm so 100% with what you're saying. They should do it where Shayna demolishes Ronda, puts her on the shelf. They could even do a Lions Den match, like how they done before, or they call it Fight Pit now, but a Fight Pit match, style.
I like the Fight Pit, yeah. And then you could have some random. Oh, Holly Holmes could be the guest referee.
Yeah,
like how they did Daniel Cormier for Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins Fight Pit match.
Facts. Like they could go in and get some MMA people in there, and they could make it legit. Let's say they could say like a shoot injury, like a real injury, or kayfabe injury, or a shoot injury, say whatever, but they can give that time away while Ronda's recovering.
I feel like kayfabe injuries are the coolest thing, because it's like, for the story, they're like, hey, you're out for a couple months, so it's like, go home. Oh, cool. All right. Like paid vacation. All right, bet.
And we know Ronda has a special contract. Like she's not like a full-timer. So this could be perfect if they want to go down that route. And let's say she breaks, let's say Ronda's arm, whatever, or crush her larynx in that, a choke that she does. But put her on the shelf, have her run through the women when she becomes women's champion eventually. Then they have Ronda come back. There's a natural feud right there. Like they can make, if they play their cards right.
I think it would work out.
I think so too.
I think because I want Shayna to injure her to where like it's like she's getting chairs and security's trying to rip her off. She does it because I also noticed, and security pisses me off in WWE, and let me tell you why. Whenever a heel is attacking a face, security's sleeping, bro. They don't give a damn. But the good guy gets his hand on the bad guy. Hey. Oh,
for real, man.
Yo, what kind of BS is that? Like, I'm like, I watched Jeff Hardy almost get murdered by CM Punk in 2011. Security didn't give a damn. He literally put a chair around his neck, threw him into the ring post. I thought this man's head was barely attached as a kid.
I remember that too, bro. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah, but man,
I was a big Jeff Hardy fan.
Just recently, Finn Balor's been murking Seth Rollins leading up to this pay-per-view all month. Like every time he sees him, gets hand on him, destroys his ribs. Security's like, oh my God, we can't stop him. Like hands slipping off him while he's going back and messing him up. But then Seth was like, aha, and he grabs Finn, and then like 30 security guards like, not today, Buster. Like, get out of here. How dare
Facts. And speaking of them, because I think we both agree on the whole Shayna and Ronda situation, is we can move on to the Seth Rollins Finn Balor match. So I know we talked a little bit about it. Great match. They always deliver. I'm actually not mad that Rollins won. And I like that they kind of teased a little bit with Priest coming out. So it was like, ooh, wait a minute. Is he, but we'll see, future how that plays out.
So
but I think this is playing the seeds for a good
I thought
program.
Seth was going to win, but I felt like it would have made sense for Finn to win. And I think Finn should have won.
100%.
So it's like the only reason Seth deserves a longer run with the belt is because while Roman has been the tribal chief, Seth has been carrying Raw for years, right? He was over for years as a heel on Raw, running in fire feuds with Riddle, with all these other people, and mind you, without a belt. So it's like it's only fair he got this because they did give him the U.S. title for a little bit. And, Seth was carrying like all of Monday Night Raw without a title for like 2 to 3 years, but while Roman was holding the main event scene hostage, right? So it really worked out that they finally are rewarding him with this
shit. They can go even further back than that, man. Seth was carrying this fucking Raw back when he was doing the IC stuff and shit. Even when we throw back with Jason Jordan, like Seth finally is getting some. I really think he's finally getting.
Well, since the Jason Jordan thing, he's been a Universal Champion, mind you.
Yeah, of course. But I meant like as far as like him being like the guy, like when Brock was out when he was champion, or when Roman, or when they didn't have the title on the show, like
but that's what I'm saying. Without Raw having a world champ, right?
Yeah,
because Brock, like you said, Brock's holding it means you don't really have a world champion, and then Roman holding the belts for 3 years, like Universal title for 3 years, holding the main event scene hostage the moment he got the WWE Championship. Rollins without a title was carrying Monday Night Raw on entertainment value, on rivalries. I like I said, I think his most notable stuff was the stuff he did with Riddle, but I think he did great. So
I was like, even the stuff with Ray was good too. Remember when he had that feud with Ray for a little, where he took
that,
his eye
that
out?
Was that was
actually
back.
Lit
yeah,
too.
that was really good.
Like,
Monday Night Messiah. And so it's finally like he's getting his payoff. Oh, and Cody too. He had a great rivalry with Cody.
Yep, Cody. Yeah, when he came back. Yeah.
So
I've been killing it now. I really think when we
that's
what I'm
look
saying. Back, like,
so
yeah,
he earned this world title opportunity. He's earned this run. So, but at the same time, it's like just for this past year alone though, Finn's been killing it. So it's kind of like I'm on the fence because if you think about how many like Judgment Day has not missed a pay-per-view all year, right? Seth hasn't missed a pay-per-view either, I don't think. But reason being is with the way Seth has been carrying the main event scene of Raw for years, and now Finn has been killing it. I'm like, they can go either way. Because also at the same time, even though Seth deserves this title opportunity, Seth doesn't need this title opportunity. Seth is already like what, a 4 or 5 time world champion,
Yeah, so like 5 time. He's a made man. I mean, Seth is literally legit got over the tag titles at one point when it was just him holding it. Like he's that over.
Literally, he's that over. So it's like he doesn't need the world title, but the world title needs him right now is the thing. They need him to make it look credible. And I think Finn would be the next step to make it look credible. So I actually was like, if Finn wins, I'm not mad. I think it'd be cool. But they want to push the story. I don't think that Seth's done with the Judgment Day. I honestly don't
either. I think he's just starting.
I think so we're gonna see how this is gonna go. I just think it's gonna be cool to see because obviously there's gonna be tension between Damian and Finn now. Damian did say afterwards in the post interview. I really like that they're doing the post interviews like boxing now. By the way, after pay-per-views, I love that.
Facts. Yeah, like I remember when they first started doing that. I was really young. This is like in like the late '90s because they used to do that with really big pay-per-views like WrestleMania and stuff. Like first time I remember, I think it was Austin. I remember seeing like Austin and Michaels and all that. And they got away from it for so many years. And when AEW started doing it, WWE's like, well, we used to do this shit too. So they started doing it even like bigger and better. Yeah. And it's like finally, like, because not only are they killing it with the press conference, but they're also incorporating backstage interviews with stuff that lines up with that, with also
Well,
lines with the story.
it's like
Like,
added content to the story. So it does, if
yeah,
you miss it, it doesn't change the story, but it adds to the flavor.
big
So,
facts.
also better than AEW's post interviews, only because like I mean, first off, AEW, like stuff gets said whether it's supposed to or not.
Yeah,
But like
that's what makes AEW's just a little better, because you just, it's so unpredictable. You never know.
but part of that is because I mean, you could say that Tony doesn't have like a tight grip over the company because it's like I feel like when MJF be sitting next to him and MJ, and it's
Bro,
crazy too because MJF, like, even though he crosses the lines, he's never actually crossed those lines that started all those problems, like with
yeah.
like the CM Punk and like Elite stuff. See, MJF never had nothing to do with that. Only thing MJF was breaking the fourth wall was like his frustration with how AEW
His
talent was
contract.
getting. Well, his contract, but also how AEW talent was getting pushed back for ex WWE guys, because it was true. It was like
It was.
because mind you, he created the pillar storyline. He's the first person to announce to the world that there were 4 pillars in AEW. So he protected the 4 guys in the pillar, at least, from getting washed out of AEW with that storyline alone. So he did that. He saved Jack Perry now, because Jungle Boy's dead as of last week. He saved Jack Perry, he saved Darby Allin, and he saved Sammy Guevara. As ex-WWE guys in the company. But you can tell Tony Khan's face, like, and when NJ was talking, he looks like he's about to shit himself, bro, because he's like, MJ, he's like, Max, please don't say he's not stupid. And Max is just saying it, just telling it how it is,
Facts.
I think Max is killing it. I love his post interviews.
Me too.
But
It's so sad where like I talk with other wrestling fans and they say like, oh, MJF isn't really moving the needle, or like he hasn't even hit 1 million, ratings or whatever. But it's like, man, look at his body of work. Look at his in-ring performances. Like, I cannot ever like think of one bad MJF match. Like,
no,
he goes there, he performs,
the
man.
way
And
AEW books MJF is how WWE should have been booking The Miz years ago. Honestly, because the thing is like, people say the character simulators, which is true, and believe it or not, very controversial. I will say this, right? People think MJF would take Miz on the mic. If you take that PG rating off Miz, I don't think MJF could touch Miz, bro. That's just, and I love MJF to death, but that's just personal opinion. I think
this is gonna be the top reel of the day.
Honest,
that's
no,
gonna get
honestly,
that's gonna get
hot take.
Hot take, yeah. That's gonna get
think about it. MJF is on
fans.
MJF is cutting promos on a non PG platform, but Miz has been killing promos on a PG platform. So you take him over to like AEW where he gets to talk his shit. Oh God, Miz a couple years ago, 2016 Miz untouchable on the mic. Honestly,
could you imagine like if Miz? I can't never see him leaving WWE, but like let's say if he did,
no, he would never leave WWE.
Yeah, so let's say he did leave just for whatever reason, like unscripted, 100% free, just cut a heel promo. Miz would fucking destroy it. Like, oh man, I never even thought of that until like you brought that up. Like, I'm just like the thought of Miz on a fucking mic without any restrictions. Like, he would kill it. Like, Miz is low key like the GOAT, low key.
Oh yeah,
like low key, because he's done like almost everything except probably win Royal Rumble. But
yeah, honestly, but yeah, because he's the only 2-time Grand Slam champion, mind you. But the thing is, though, is the way he's booked versus the way MJF is booked. If you put them in a match right now, MJF would win. I'm not even talking about right now. Take it a couple of years ago with Miz too, because right now Miz is like barely on the mid card.
Yeah,
but you take it a couple of years ago too, MJF would beat Miz, because MJF was beating. He's beaten every current. I actually didn't learn this yesterday. I was playing the video game. MJF is walking out. One of the statistics is that he is the only person who has currently beat every previous AEW world champion.
That's very true. That is very true.
And so I was like, did he really? And I'm like, Chris Jericho, he's beating him. John Moxley, he's beating him. Hangman Adam Page, he's beating him. I don't think I don't remember. I didn't even know he wrestled Kenny.
Yeah. Wait a minute. That might be the only one. I can't think of it. Wait. I don't think they did wrestle. Now think about it. Maybe they didn't include Kenny in that list, I guess. Or if they did, I mean, maybe if anybody's watching, they could, but I can't remember. I know he wrestled. I know he beat Hangman. I know he beat Moxley. I know he beat Punk. I know he beat
Punk was
Jericho.
Yeah, Punk was world champ. I forgot that was a very short run.
Yeah, very,
My
very
man,
short.
died, celebrated, and hurt himself.
It's fucking Punk, man. Damn, I love Punk at times, but I always remember just shaking my head like, "What are you doing, man?"
No,
Like,
no. The part that was so crazy to me was because he won the belt, and then obviously he came out again later that night, and he dived into the ring, and I see those videos. But then the next day they're like, Punk is injured, we're leaving title. I'm like, what? And they're like, when he dived into the crowd, I was like, bro, come on. I was watching the video on YouTube.
facts.
My man's like, yeah, and it was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, he was in Chicago with the championship, so I get it. I get the hype,
Mm.
but it's just such a crazy way to end the title run.
Facts. Like he should have, like when he first did the dive, like when he first came back after all those years, after 6 years away, wherever it's been, that was cool. That was a great touchy moment. He's in his hometown. But when it went back to Chicago, and, he was world champion, like, bro, you did not have to do that. And on top of that, like you're jumping and you have a title on you. Like you're gonna be a little heavier. You're not gonna clear like it was just he was just in his emotions. Like he was just so happy.
I get
But
it. The
fucking
adrenaline was
shattered
pumping.
his foot.
All right, let's see. What matches have we not covered yet
But
for
yeah,
Money in the Bank?
just the last one was the main event though, was the Usos versus Solo.
That's right.
So I want to say love that match. I loved it more than I thought I was gonna love it. The
Mhm.
fucking the spot that really got me. I mean, there's a lot of great spots, of course, a great match, but that Samoan spike and spear combination from
Oh, okay.
fucking Roman and Solo,
I
I was like, yo, that was dope.
fire.
That was fire.
I thought you were going to talk about Solo jumping on the table because that shit was so clean.
That was next. That was next.
Solo was
that
like, ah, and then just cut. He just go. It just looked like the way the camera angle looked was like that. I think it was Jimmy on the table. The way they did it was so funny because it was like by the time they cut back to Solo in the air, Jimmy is like not even near the table anymore. So it's all and his facial, the best part too, his facial expression did not change. Like this man was mad the whole fall.
Facts, yo. It's funny. My brother ran into Solo when they came to North Carolina to wrestle at the Crown. He ran into him in the bathroom.
Oh, really?
And he said he looks just like that in real life. Like he said he was having problems with like the paper towel thing because it was in the bathroom. After he washed his hands just to get the sensor going, and he's like he just had this like fucking look like
just pissed off the whole time.
Yeah, like the whole time. And my brother was like, yeah, he was like, I think that one's broken. He was like, looked at him like with that look, and he was like, thought I was tripping, and then like walked out. My brother said, "Yo, this is the coolest shit." Like he was so hyped about that.
That's lit. I'm jealous, bro.
Bro, he got a picture. He got to meet Cody and Solo the same day. He got a picture with Cody, but not with Solo because Solo just looked super pissed. He was like, I didn't want to ask him, but he met him in the bathroom. But he met Cody and got a picture with him. Like it was so cool. I was like, I'm jealous.
The closest I've been to meeting a WWE superstar live, besides being at a live event, not even getting to be within 50 feet of them, is that while I was in Kuwait, my parents were in Hawaii and they met Kevin Hart, who's friends with The Rock. That's the closest I've gotten to meet a wrestler. That's how bad it is for me.
Damn, bro, we got to go to a wrestling event soon. We're going to speak that in existence because, yeah, I mean, and actually you get to meet some wrestlers because I've been lucky enough to meet some. I met a lot of independent wrestlers, of course, and WWE wrestlers. I met some, but not a lot, not as much as I want to.
Yeah.
We'll get that. But back into Roman and Solo, bro. Like that was such a good match, and the fact they actually had Jey Uso pin Roman like furthers the storyline. And I know we talked a little bit about it, but I'll let you finish up. I know so we're gonna get to it later, so you continue on like how excited you was about Jey Uso winning.
Oh, perfect long term story time. Oh, real quick, it wasn't really a spot. One part that had me crying, was when Roman was yelling at Solo. And it was funny because I could hear Jay off camera, and he was like, "Better listen to your daddy, boy." And I was crying, bro. That was so funny. But it was pretty good match. The ref though, oh my god, he was like a pushover, dude. Like it would be like Roman and Solo beating the hell out of one of the Usos, and the ref's like, "Hey, buddy, can you get out of the ring?" Like, bro, do your job, bro. And then, bro, I think they hit the ref in the dick when they pushed him out of the ring. Because I see him like go over the rope and then he's holding himself as he flies out of the ring. So I'm like, oh, I don't think that was planned, but I think Roman.
I hope we could put that in the graphic over there because yeah, that shit was hilarious.
If I can get it,
if you can get it, yeah.
But there was that, but then also when Jay punched Roman in the dick, bro, that was pretty crazy because it was so smooth. I didn't catch it the first time until the replay because his arm, he pinned him and his arm was under, and then when he kicked out, he went up like this, so the ref didn't catch it. I was like, that was actually smart.
That was like honestly one of the most clever spots, like the low blow kick out.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, like what, like I've never seen anyone do that before. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know who came up with that, whoever was the match producer, or if that was just something they came up with, but that was fucking clever.
Could have
And
been a
it's
spot of the moment thing.
Roman, I swear, people don't give Roman enough credit, bro. Roman and Brock are like some of the best sellers in the entire company, even though because they're such big shit and they win almost all their matches. But when they sell, like Roman looked legitimately like legit hurt. Like he was like, you know what I'm saying, just stunned. The camera zooming in on his face, like
Yeah,
fucking.
honestly, like his face was like he got betrayed again, bro. Like this has not been a good year for my boy. He got 3 betrayals in 1 year.
It has, and he's gonna get a fourth one too soon. I think Solo's gonna be the one that's gonna end up breaking up with him pretty soon. Like I don't,
I believe it because you saw when they were like Solo gonna be the next Treef, and then Solo kind of uncrossed his arm, looking at him like, "What's funny?" Like,
exactly. And just the match was just insane, bro. And I'm so happy that Jay won, and I really hope that they capitalize on this. And hell, they could even have a Jay Uso versus Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam. Like I think that'll be
hey, if
pretty entertaining.
it's just something I never saw possible, but if Jay does become the one to take the title off Roman, I would love that storytelling.
Me too.
I would just be hyping my boy, because I'm also a Uso, so I'm saying so my Usos we up right now.
We up Us.
We up Us.
Bro, that's one, like I wouldn't mind even if it was like a short run, even if it was a short run. But Jay Uso to me, besides Solo, like I could see take the world title off of him, like without him going out of like the family. If they wanted to keep it within the family,
I don't
it
see
would have to be Jay or Solo.
I don't see Jimmy or Solo. Oh, you're talking about taking off Roman. I thought you were
Yeah,
saying
title off Roman.
I thought you were saying Solo taking it off Jay after Jay takes
no,
it off.
no.
I don't think they would do that. That's kind of wild.
No. Just taking the title off of Roman. I think
I know the rest of the roster would be like, all right, bro, like, can we get a title shot? Like, why is this why is it this like this?
Hey, you never know, man, when it comes to WWE, bro. You never know. But I'm excited to see like where do you think they go from here now with the Bloodline story? Like to me, naturally, it has to be they have to split up Solo with Roman. And I'm saying when they do that, give Solo the title or give him a monster fucking push after. But like, what about you? What do you think?
All right. So the thing is, believe it or not, Solo's already had a monster push in general. I don't think people realize for him being like people forget he's only been on the roster for like a year, right? Because
I don't even think it's been a year. I think it's
exactly, and he's
like close enough, maybe 9 months.
Like look at it this way, right? Never been he held the only gold Solo has ever held, right? Was the NXT UK title for like a day or a week, right? And
was
then he
the
had
UK title. I thought it was the North American.
What did I say? My bad. North American.
You said you said UK. That's like, whoa,
yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
okay,
he wore. Yeah, you're right. The North American. He held that one for like a week, and then that was it. He goes to the main roster and he's booked as this badass because I mean, like, shoot, he just beat Sheamus clean. He didn't technically beat him like as far as win goes, but he beat Sheamus clean with a stoppage last week, like by himself, right? So they've already built him to be. He's got a higher push than Karrion Kross, who is a dominant former NXT champion. So he's already gotten a good push. I'm not saying stop the push, but he doesn't need like a bigger push. He already has a great push for him. I think he's at a good pace. I don't think he needs to go. If anything, he needs to go for a mid-card title. That's another contender, though. After the Bloodline stuff's over, let Solo. I think Solo's spot with the family would be like, you know what? I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm going my own way. And then he gets into a rivalry with Austin. And I think him and Austin would be a good theory to go back. I think that would be a back and forth. And honestly, Solo winning wouldn't even be out of character. I don't think he would, but especially because Austin now has pretty deadly backing him, which I'm not like my favorite tag team, but hey, I'll take it. You know.
Yeah, I would say but I could actually see that. Like I could really see it, and I think that would be a killer match. Austin Theory versus fucking Solo Sikoa, but man, because Solo, like he legit reminds me of a young Umaga, and I hope that he, he's not doing like drugs or anything like how Umaga unfortunately was doing and ended up overdosing, because that was sad because everyone even said like Vince isn't the type like a sympathetic person behind the scenes too much. But they said when Umaga died, he was so like heartbroken about it because he was like, and Jericho even talked about in his book, where he was like, man, I tried because he wanted Umaga to rehab and Umaga refused and he released him. And then shortly after he released him, he dies of an overdose. So it's like, and you could tell that really hurt Vince because he put him in that spot with the Bound of Billionaires. and always loved the Samoan family for everything they've done for the wrestling business. So
Yeah.
I could see him definitely wanting to push, or even Triple H should say more because he's more hands on with the creative. But
Well, I don't think Solo's
push
gonna have
Solo.
to go through that because I mean Solo also has more support than Umaga did. Solo literally has his two
Yeah,
older brothers with him. He's got Roman with him. You got Triple H with him. Like there's so many people that like in current modern wrestling that have support now that didn't have it back then. Back then, a lot of them had to fight their demons on their own.
yeah,
So
that is very true.
I think Solo's going to be good. I think he'll be okay.
And speaking of Umaga, actually, I don't know if you know, but his sons actually, or at least one of the sons, I mean, debuted like started their first wrestling match and everything. So it was like,
In
wow.
what promotion?
I can't remember. Like it might have been Booker's promotion, Reality of Wrestling.
Okay,
it was just going around like I come involved in all these wrestling like groups and stuff, and they were
he
showing
just
a
had to
picture of him.
debut. Now we're gonna push the Bloodline story for like 3 more years. He's gonna
I know,
show
right?
up, and then he's gonna join Solo and Roman. And
Bro, I would love for them if they could have like somehow got Jacob Fatu in this. Like, bro, this would have been fucking classic. Because
I'm saying, bro, I wanted it to be like literally like Captain America Civil War, bro. I
exactly,
want, I want Samoa Joe back. I want Tamina back. I want Naomi back. I want everybody involved in it.
yeah, get the Rock back in.
Even the Rock got to come at the end, and he got to be on the winning side.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like Roman got their side laid out, and then all of a sudden the Rock's music hit, and then the Rock comes in like, you need a tribal chief.
I can see that, man, for real. Especially with all the momentum the Bloodline has already had for the last basically 3 years. You know, like I could see something like that where they bring a lot of the family in. Probably not, all of them, but at least most of them, and just one big ass clash. And that's the thing too, like because Rock has been saying he wants one more match. And he wants it with his cousin, but then like Rock always gets super busy. Roman, WWE, they kind of just do their own thing, but they always kind of hint that they're excited for it. But
I've also heard The Rock isn't in match shape because, like, regardless, like the dude is a buff dude, but it doesn't mean he's in ring shape. He still has to run ropes, he still has to practice, and he has to get back into that shape. And so it makes sense because, like, that was even with like Cena when he comes to wrestle like his once a year. He still has to be in shape for it, and him not being in shape is what we kind of saw at WrestleMania with that match with Theory. Because I think he could get back into shape and be better than what that was for sure.
I hope so. Yeah, because how I feel about that whole Cena Theory thing. And I love Cena and I love Theory, but that whole thing could have been so much better if they would have executed better. But that I say we're about to finish wrapping up here. One last thing I would love to say or ask you at least about when it comes to the Bloodline. Like realistically, who do you think is the person that's going to take the title off of Roman Reigns? Like realistically,
from the family or like from WWE?
Just in WWE in general. Like you can include the family too, but like who do you think will be the one?
Honestly, Cody, I still think is their initial plans because my pick for the longest was always going to be Seth because it kind of like completes the story. The guy who put a chair in his back like literally almost 10 years ago, coming back and ending his title reign because like with the shield and everything. And I know like Roman says the shield's beneath him now, but there's still some stuff there. But
the way he sold that back shot too with the chair
every time, bro. It's always with the chair too. They do a really good job with it. Roman's really good at getting portrayed. Dog.
Let's say he's one of the best sellers, bro.
And honestly, it's so cool because it actually makes Roman's like whole heel story justified. But so Seth was my top pick. Obviously, he's out of the question. Sammy would be a good pick, but I don't think they're giving him that push anymore. He's still over, but like he's not over like that right now. He's now back into the Sammy and Kevin thing, not the Sammy Uso thing.
Facts. So, I think Sammy unfortunately peaked with that. And that's what makes it sad because they wasted capitalize. Yeah, like, and that's what I'm scared that they're gonna do even with LA Knight, where I'm like, guys, like it's right here for the take.
I think that's different. No, that's different though, because Sammy was killing his promos week after week, which is why everybody was loving him. But it was part of a storyline and the part of Sammy being loved and Sammy giving love back that everybody liked, and that's why everybody pushed Sammy and loved Sammy. But that was like, but then mind you, Sammy hasn't been new to WWE. We've known who Sami Zayn is for years, right? LA Knight is this new thing. He he has not been giving any opportunities to really present himself. He literally actually had the opposite where they gave us Max Dupree, So his
Exactly.
natural talent, charisma, and in-ring ability is solely carrying him into this. So I don't think that's going to wear off anytime soon. It's just when they're going to push him. And even then, like, there's going to be a point where, like, if they don't push him, that's just on WWE because they see the pop he gets every time. They give him three sentences and he sells every single one like with gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, to finish your question, Seth was originally my pick. Obviously it's not going to be Sammy. I don't think anybody new is going to enter the fray. In the back of my mind, I always wanted to say Kevin just because Kevin was like his first real challenger for the belt, but I do think it's still going to be Cody. I think what they've been doing this whole time is Cody hasn't been in serious rivalries. They've been trying to keep Cody busy. So how do you keep Cody still at main event? So what? They have him do a couple pay-per-views with Brock. Now that's over with Dominic to keep him as the ultimate good guy going against the ultimate bad guy in the company right now. Because even though you don't look at Dominic like a final boss, he's got the most heat in the company. Definitely. So that match made sense. He beats a big guy that everybody hates. So they've been trying to keep Cody, like, Cody's been like a side quest this whole time. And, and I think they're going to find a way to loop him back into the world title scene very soon.
It's probably going to be with another Royal Rumble win. That's the only thing I could.
Well, I think they're trying to have him lose. I think Roman's going to lose the belt by SummerSlam, honestly.
Really? Wow. I actually don't think he is. Like, I think they're going to keep this going until WrestleMania. I honestly think
there's not a lot of story. They can't keep the Usos versus Solo and Roman for the rest of the year because you got to think.
Yeah, of course.
But when Roman loses the belt, it's got to be at one of the big 4 pay-per-views, which is, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. They fucked it at WrestleMania because they won.
Yeah.
Survivor Series, it's not going to be a title match because it's going to be World Heavyweight Champion versus undisputed Universal Champion.
Well, I think they're going to do another War Games. I think Triple H has already confirmed that for this year's Survivor Series. It just who they're going to do it with now because last year they did the Bloodline and the Brawling Brutes. Now it's like, well, who else can you build up?
Well, no, the difference though is now they can go back to SmackDown versus Raw because they don't have to include NXT, and I don't think they should. The only reason they did that one time was because at the time AEW was beefing with NXT. So they were doing that to boost NXT's ratings. I don't think they need to do that anymore. So it should go back.
No, I was talking about last year's.
Yeah, they did Survivor Series War Games. That's where Austin won the United States Championship. I got the plaque right here. Oh, right here.
No, I thought you meant like with the NXT. That's what I was like when they had.
Well, remember how they at 1.2 they did War Games, but they also did Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So what I think they should do is they should go back to Raw versus SmackDown. So all the matches should be like War Games matches or in War Games.
I do like that better,
but it should be
War Games is cool too.
Yeah, but I loved it. Like some of the matchups you get. So it's like, all right, you should do US versus Intercontinental. So right now it'd be Austin versus Gunther, which would be fire. That's why it was like at the point leading up to last Survivor Series, Bobby was about to beat Austin, and I was like, ooh, Bobby versus Gunther sounds awesome. So I was happy for that. You do the tag team champs versus tag team champs. Unfortunately, they're together, so that's not a match we're getting. But then you do a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown for men and women. So they pick 5 from Raw for men and women, 5 from SmackDown, men and women, and those are 2 different matches right there. You get the women's world champions going at it. You got the men's world champions going at it. That's a pay-per-view on its own. And then you have like 1 or 2 beef matches like that you guys just like to throw in there, So whoever's been, jumping somebody that week, we're like, you're getting a match.
I like what you're saying, but I think I'm gonna disagree on how they're gonna take the title off Roman. Like, I really think they're gonna wait to WrestleMania, and it's crazy enough to think like, damn, how can he keep this stretching? Because like the bloodline is basically already broken up. I mean, they could let's say if they do have Solo break, away from Roman, they could do something where Roman and Solo and maybe have 2 pay-per-views in there. Then they still have Karrion Kross, who never really challenged Roman, who put the TikTok thing when he came back.
Yeah, but he ain't taking that. Bobby Lashley.
These are people I'm just gonna feed until WrestleMania for Roman, until Cody be the one to eventually take the title from him. I think it's gonna be Cody too. Well, I mean, I know you said Seth, but she said Cody would be another good one. But I think
no. So my final answer is Cody because
it's Cody. Okay,
he makes the most sense. When they gave Seth Rollins the World Heavyweight Championship, kept him on Raw, it was clear they want to keep him from Roman. There's no reason for Seth to beat Roman now because he got the new belt, and Seth is now he has held 2 inaugural championships and almost was a winner of a 3rd when he lost to Finn, ironically. So Seth's pretty good. Like Seth is a healthy career.
Yeah, I think it has to be Cody, but I think like is to answer your concern about the how can they stretch it basically because the bloodline basically to an end. They could probably do let's say Jey Uso. They could have Jey Uso and him at SummerSlam. They could do Survivor Series with like I said Raw SmackDown. If they do that, that's cool with me. But I did hear Triple H was leaning more towards doing another War Games. Maybe it may not include Roman. I don't. I mean, I don't see how it
Well,
could.
it doesn't have to
But
include Roman though.
yeah, I will say yeah, it probably
It
doesn't
could
have
be
to include
Judgment Day
Roman.
because, like I told you,
Yeah.
we're leaning into the bloodline decline and the Judgment Day rise. So it would be good for
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day get a match, and it could be like the four of them. Well, I guess
Who would they go against? Would it be Seth and maybe Cody and?
well, that's if that's who they're
That's what I'm
beefing with
saying.
at the time. That's all the way to December, bro. We still got 6
Ooh,
months.
that's true. But I was thinking, I said they could do Sammy and Kevin, Sammy Kevin,
It could
maybe
be.
throw in Cody and
I don't think
Seth
it's going to be a generic
against.
heel team. I think it'll start with another group that they'll start beefing with. Because hear me out, right? Judgment Day versus Imperium because they're both on Raw. Maybe it's not necessarily said
that.
who's the
Yeah.
heel or the face. We don't know. It doesn't have to be heel or face. Even though that's the generic default formula they follow. You could do Imperium and Judgment Day. You could do Imperium and Brawling Brutes, or not. They already did that. I feel like basically a lot.
They did, yeah,
Brawling Brutes and Judgment Day. So I think Judgment Day for sure is going to be in the big War Games match. That is
maybe they could. I was gonna say maybe they could do the LWO maybe if they build them up a little bit more.
Yeah, just so they can give an LWO another L, huh?
Yeah, no. Well, I did hear.
Shit.
I did hear that Carlito's supposed to be coming back pretty soon. I already just signed with
Actually,
SmackDown.
I would like him to come back.
I heard he signed with SmackDown officially. So
Okay, well,
maybe that could be something.
He ain't joining the LWO. He gonna spit an apple in their faces, bro. I guarantee it.
Or just hear me out. Maybe Carlito joins the LWO, but then kind of do like how they did Edge with the Judgment Day, but they do it with Ray with the LWO, and then Carlito takes over and makes that group even cooler. And I mean, who knows? I mean,
so I love Carlito, but I do not think that should happen because number one, Santos Escobar needs to return to NXT Santos Escobar. This main roster Santos is like some smiling Mexican. Nah, bro. Like fucking the NXT Santos Escobar was a threat, bro.
Yeah,
the Legado chance. I hate the LWO theme just because of that, because they took away his theme. Or dude, it was so fire when the crowd, he'd be walking out and the crowd would be like, Legado. He's slapping the steps coming up with the boss music. Yeah, main roster Santos has been a letdown. Him and
that's gonna be our next top 10. I think we should do for next episode, like top 10 letdowns from like NXT to like main rosters. And we could make it clever. We could say or top 5, I should say, not top 10, but like we could even do it where guys that are still current, or guys or women that's currently still on the roster, so the ones that end up being released. We can
next
do
time.
Next time. But I think that's I think we touched on everything pretty good. We even gave some future predictions, even like way later from Survivor Series to WrestleMania. But I think we had another great episode of Wrestle Theory. I'm here, boy, Alvin, the People's Choice originally, but down here, the People's Champ, and Devin Oos. And we'll see you guys again. Please follow us on all social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. You'll see us on YouTube. We're going to get all this stuff going even better and stronger than before. We are taking over the wrestling world. Isn't that right, Oos?
You already know it.
All right, y'all. So y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week. Peace.